Welcome back to the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Rob, Urban, Mark back here with you. We are happy to welcome in the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Joey McGuire. And Coach McGuire, A, thanks for joining us here in summer, but B, one of our best stops for Big Noon Kickoff last season was when we packed our bags and went to Lubbock. And man, I wanted to bring out some tortillas just to make you feel welcome and throw them up on the screen right now, but I know you've seen enough tortillas. Mark Ingram, by the way, Coach, is whipping tortillas at me from like 5 feet away, just continually pegging me in the side of the head while your fan base behind us is just throwing thousands and thousands of them up. It was such an awesome scene.
It was incredible, and that that was my first opportunity to be with you guys on set, and I know Coach understands this, Mark, y'all all three understand this. Like the tough thing was, man, our stadium was electric, and we just didn't get the job done against Dion. I mean, the only thing that could have been better about that day, of course, is the wind, but man, it was such a great atmosphere, and I think having y'all even helped the atmosphere even more to carry over into the game, because that was such a incredible atmosphere. The year that my first year we beat Texas, and I thought the game day atmosphere was really cool. But I think the Colorado, having y'all on campus and then going into that game, I think since I've been here was probably the coolest atmosphere throughout the game that I've been a part of. So thank y'all for being here, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for hosting us. It was great.
You bet. Coach McGuire, I'm going to take credit for you because it was my idea to get you on. I saw some comments made, and it took me back about that. We're talking about the college football playoff, and there's some models out there that maybe limit Big 12 on how many teams can get in. And I saw your comments, and I called Rob and I talked to our producers and said,
yeah,
we got to fire his ass up. And you said that you made reference to a play-in, enough with the who's good enough, who's not. And it took me back to when I was the head coach at Utah, and I remember Trev Alberts. Trev Alberts he wasn't an AD then; he was on TV, and it was back in the BCS era, Mark. And you can imagine I was young, man, young and fired up myself. And he said they're not a BCS team, and they don't belong in the BCS conversation. This is when we had Alex Smith. We went undefeated.
Yeah.
I got so pissed off, and that's all I used all year. Every team meeting, I started off with that. I said, you know what? You guys aren't with this shit anyways. You're not BCS guys. And in my mind, I'm going, we could beat the hell out of most of these BCS teams. So talk to us about how, as a head coach at Texas Tech, you have a job to fight for your players and fight for your team. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, first of all, that was one of my questions to you. So you just gave me some good stuff, and I'll finish it. But, the reason I say that is, I mean, perfect example. I got to see, we got beat, but I got to see the game 3 of the softball World Series. That was played between 2 Big 12 teams. That wasn't an SEC team and a Big 12 team. It was, but they just changed logos. That was like, that's where we're so, like, if you're giving us 4 Big 10 teams, and I don't know this, y'all will know this more than me. I was going to look it up today and got busy because had a couple things that was awesome go on. But like, who was number 3 and number 4 in the Big 10 and in the SEC? I know who number 3 probably was, Mark, because you're going to say Alabama. But like, you're telling me that you're giving me 4 automatic qualifiers out of those conference. Well, then I want 4 out of the Big 12. If we're not going to fight it out and say, if you're saying, hey, this is the Power 4 conference, and you're going to say, hey, there's 4 automatic qualifiers, then give it to all 4. If not, then let's have the conference champions get in, and then let's have play-in games of who's going to be number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, whoever, that is. I think you got to settle on the field, because I said this last year, and I'm going to say it again. A Pac-12 team won the Big 10. Oregon won the Big 10. A Big 12 team played in the SEC Conference Championship with Texas. And then a Pac-12 team played and won the Big 12. And so we were talking about all these conferences, and 2 of the conference champions came out of a conference that doesn't even exist anymore. So it's like, it's all of a sudden like, man, if I'm a better football team with a different patch, I just might wear a patch next year and see if that helps us win more games, because it obviously helps you be ranked higher, and it obviously helps you get more consideration of getting more people. And, I think Rhett Lashley has done a phenomenal job at SMU, but they got beat by BYU, and there were not enough people talking about BYU being in the playoffs as they were a team that got beat in their conference championship getting in the playoffs. So, Coach, you got me fired up, man. I know I can get you fired up. It doesn't have to be a young Utah head coach. I know you can get ready to go. But there's just, man, I just want to try to figure out. I don't have the
Yeah.
perfect answer, but I want to try to figure out how we figure this out on the field and
Yeah.
head to head. And
Hey, before I hand this to Mark, you got me thinking about something. So, how do you handle that? I remember going back to the Utah days. We, as a conference, and certainly our AD and I talked, we started scheduling as many of those schools as possible because we had to. Have you guys had a chat and saying, hey, maybe we just schedule the heck out of Big Ten and SEC and prove that we belong? Yeah,
I think we're going to have to do that. But the one thing I do think before we can start saying, hey, this is we all four have got to do one thing. We either got to play 9 conference games or 8 conference games. Right. And then if we play 8, then we got to play each other. But we do. There's no doubt, like Brian Kelly said it the other day about, the SEC and the Big Ten need to play each other, and I'm great with a home and home with LSU. I just want it to be the very next year. Our schedule was kind of crazy. My first year, we played North Carolina State. I don't think we play them for another 4 years for some reason. So it wasn't a home and home. It is, but it wasn't a home and home that guys that got beat by North Carolina State get to come back in Lubbock, Texas, and play a team to where I can use that loss or win as a motivation factor.
Right. No, hey, Coach. We always talk about the transfer portal, and you kind of hit the transfer portal hard this year, shoring up both sides of the offensive line and the defense line. Brought in Quentin Joyner, the running back from USC. What is your ideal balance between, hitting the transfer portal and, recruiting like homegrown talent?
Yeah, I think we were 18. We ended up being 19 in the transfer portal, and we ended up being 20 in high school. So really balanced. You always, to me, especially in the offensive line, it's such a developmental position. We had 6 high school offensive linemen, and I want to develop them for my babies and grow them up. They're big boys, and I want them to grow up in this program because of the circumstances. Really, not because, maybe before I got here, they were heavy in the transfer portal in the offensive line, and so we've kind of had to do that. And then, be honest with you, we were a fumble away. We're centering the ball against TCU for kicking a field goal. We still would have had to defend about a minute on the clock and didn't play very good defense in the fourth quarter. So we had to defend about a minute on the clock to win that TCU game, or we're in the Big 12 championship. And so because we were so close, which no coach wants to hear, you want to be close. It's better than being far away and not being close, but we're so close. We had some donors, Cody Campbell being one of them, John Sellers, Gary Peterson, Dusty Wamba, really step up and say, guys, let's be extremely aggressive to go get what we need to try to compete at the highest level. And you guys were out here, you saw the south end zone. Our football facility opened in January. It's as good as anywhere in the country. And then we did get really aggressive in the portal, trying to get better up front.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, oil and gas money is no joke down there. I've learned that. I got a son who's going to school in the great state of Texas right now. And I know Lubbock has tapped into that, so to speak. So what is it you're asking of your donors, of your NIL friends, that you need to get to that next level? And also, what is that next level for Texas Tech? Where do you need to be and how soon do you need to be there?
So answer the first part of it. I got really, man, I'm so fortunate. Cody Campbell he's our chairman of our board of regents. Dusty Womble is the vice president of Board of Regents. Our nutrition center that we eat at every day for all athletes is called the Cash Family Nutrition Center. Clay Cash is on our Board of Regents. So, I mean, he's a board member. So we are really aligned right now. And more than me asking, it's like a collective group saying, what do we need to do? And that was one thing Cody really challenged us in July, even before the season. There were two worlds. Now there's one world, but there was two worlds that were going to operate at the same time. You had NIL as we knew it and know it, and then you had what was going to happen in revenue share. And we had an opportunity to take advantage of both of those. And those guys said, okay, hey, look, you get a guy on campus and he is your guy, like Mr. Joyner, our running back, don't let him leave. Don't let them leave. Like whatever that value is, and we've done a lot of research on it. We've got a couple of different companies we work with to, really study the values to where we have a real number.
When you say real number and values, you talking about a position?
Yeah,
like
a
a
position.
5-star running back is worth X?
Yes. So, and really with that company, it's more that a college running back, a guy that has played college football, that his NIL value is X, and he is going to increase the percentage of your team winning by Y.
Wow.
Like it's a great company.
Wow.
That
That's
works for
crazy.
football and basketball. Your alma mater, I think, may have been the first group to work with them. I could be wrong.
Who, Bama?
Bama, I'm pretty sure they were the first.
We
group.
always on the forefront of the cutting
I
edge
know,
stuff,
man.
Coach.
Well, at least for the value system of like what the player is. And then we have another group that rates players, college players, again, talking more transfer portal, 1 through 10, based on 10 being the highest NFL ranking down to 1. And so we take those two, and that's really how we got really aggressive in the portal. Okay. And so your second question, what needs to happen? We need to win the Big 12 this year.
Okay.
And this is why. I don't feel every coach needs to understand, man. Like I learned this in 2003. I replaced a Hall of Fame high school coach, and in the Dallas Morning News, which is the largest paper in the state of Texas, the superintendent, Dr. Gibson, they asked him, why did you let this coach go? And he said he didn't win enough games. I knew right then that if I wanted to keep my job, I had to win games, right? So any coach that doesn't understand that, they're living in la-la land. There's a whole deal. So I'm not saying I need to win the Big 12 to keep my job. I need to win the Big 12. We need to win the Big 12 because we have a $250 million football facility that is as good as anywhere in the country. So we have eliminated to where anybody can say, well, there's facilities aren't as good as ours. Ours are anybody.
Yeah.
I don't care where you go. Mark, when you come out here, I'll give you a tour of it and I'll recruit you as a high school athlete, and it is going to blow your mind, the facilities we have. So we check that off. We're sharing at the highest level whenever it comes to the revenue, right? So you can check that off, that you can't say, well, this school has more money than we do whenever it comes to NIL revenue sharing. So what's the thing that they're going to say? Well, they haven't ever won the conference, or, they can't get in the playoffs. I want to check that off because I want to win it. I want to be in it in the playoffs, and I want to create and sustain a winning program at a whole different level.
Hey, Coach, you got me fired up right now, Coach. He one of them ones, Coach.
Hey, go back for a minute. You just said something's intriguing to me. So do you see Parity coming at a level that's never been there before? Because Texas Tech will have the same valued roster as USC, as Alabama, as Ohio State. Is that what you see happening?
Amen. I think we saw it this year. I'll give you a perfect example is like Alabama, to where you can legitimately say I know some people say and they should be in the playoffs. They lost to two teams that were 6-win teams. So you could easily say they shouldn't be in the playoffs. USC, when we recruit against them, I know they've got the number 1 class right now. I know some stuff that they're doing on their NIL deal as far as with the high school, but how have they been more relevant than us when you're talking about just wins? I mean, they're an 8. I think they're an 8-win team this last year. So were we the year before that. You've got the number one quarterback in the country, and you're not in the playoffs. So like, the Parity is. I think Parity is real, and will continue that way, and hopefully it'll be really good for college football. We'll find out.
Coach, you was talking about the rev share. I'm just kind of interested, like, what those conversations have been like. Do you know the plan at Texas Tech and how they will split up the money between sports? What have those discussions been like from your experience?
Yeah, we're really basing it off of what they've done and kind of the penalty of, whenever you look at the back. Have you been gone long enough to where you're not going to get any money? Or
I'm not getting nothing. They
Don't
say
bring it up, Coach. Don't bring it
No,
up.
we're gonna Mark. We're gonna
Moving
push
on.
the
starts in like
triple option.
2016. I'm like, bro, I need y'all
The
to go back
triple
to
option
09
is
or
going to
something.
appeal.
Like,
We are going to appeal that.
We're appealing
Mark.
it, man.
We're gonna
I'll
appeal.
get in on that. I'll
how
get
you
in on
just
that.
cut your boy out, man? Come
Yeah.
on.
I've got hey man, I got some of my GAs and QCs. They're all fired up about this, man. They getting some pretty good money of some of these guys. So we've kind of done it like that as far as like the amount that football is getting, basketball is getting, women's basketball, stuff like that. The thing with some of the conversations with the players, and it might not have been the question you asked, but kind of you were talking about conversations. The one thing that I am really extremely it was planned out, and we've done it this way for the last 3 years, but we run it more. We have a personnel department, and I have a GM that really controls that. I have a spreadsheet that I know what all my players make, right? But I'm not in those conversations with agents or players. They don't want me in there. I'm too emotional. And so I really let my GM, James Blanchard, who's an absolute rock star, I let him handle those. He's not emotional. It's all business. And they come to some great, discussions and come to some great conclusions on what each player's value is and what they should be making. I want the purity as much as possible. I know it's
Right.
different, but I want the purity of the player coach as much as possible.
Mhm.
Our relationship, I know it's a business, but man, I still want that relationship
Yeah.
piece. And so it helps me kind of put some guardrails around that.
Off-season conversations around the Big 12, Coach, and I know you're going to get a lot of various responses, but I think the general consensus is it's a really deep conference, and on any week, anybody can beat anybody. Is that fair? Like,
It
just
is,
as
and
a little quick snapshot. That's fair?
It is. I think we're going
Okay.
to see that, like Coach said. I hate to stop you, but I think we're going to see that in all the conferences. I think you're going to see that in SEC. I think like South Carolina is going to surprise a
Okay.
lot of people.
So is that a good thing for college football?
I think it's great, man. I think that like the most watched football is at the NFL. One of the reasons it's the most watched football is because anybody can beat anybody every single week. Like literally, I mean, you're going to turn on the TV and you might have a team that's not won a lot of games and that they still have a chance and the scores are close. I think it is, I think it definitely is with us because we want to be in the mix,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
so I think it is.
But is it a good thing for the Big 12? And I asked this, Coach, because clearly there is a perception out there that the SEC and the Big 10 are up here, and the top 4 teams, no matter what, are going to get into the playoffs, and maybe a 5th and a 6th. But if the Big 12 records are kind of, a bunch of 9 and 7s or whatever it is, I think the conversation out there is going to be like, well, there's nobody really good from the Big 12. They're just kind of banging on each other. Where if the same thing happened in the SEC Big 10, they're saying, oh, because they're so dang good.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that what's happening in baseball right now, we take a look at that, because I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a college fan, and the SEC was stacked with a lot of, and
They
look
got
at,
run. They
right,
got
you look
run.
exactly what's going on right now in baseball. You look at basketball, you did have an SEC team win it, but you had a lot of SEC teams that were going in March Madness that got sent home in the first weekend. And so at some point, we hopefully, as this happens, we see that. I think that's why it's important we figure out whenever after this year, what it looks like of how many teams are getting in from each conferences, that if there's automatic qualifiers. But man, it's funny. I guarantee if you ask Coach, I don't know this, but if you ask Coach Myers, if you're saying, okay, look, if you get a first round bye, but no single team won that got a first round bye, because whether maybe it's TV, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but if you're telling me that no teams won in a first round bye, I don't want the first round bye. I do want a home game, but I want to play. So, all right, man, I know I can't solve this. Billy Napier, I heard him say this and I started thinking about it. So I've tried to take it to a whole nother level. I want to push I want the entire nation to play 0 week. I want football to start August 23rd. I want the conference champions to be crowned during Thanksgiving. And then I want to go into the playoffs and play it like the NFL that we're playing every 7 days.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy that you're having to sit and you're saying, I get the first round bye. Oh, this is awesome. Let's get healthy. But I'm not playing football for a month. Like,
Commissioner McGuire.
Hey.
You got it. You got it.
Hey, Coach, you've got a little something extra in your back pocket at Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes.
yes.
How do you utilize that? How do you go about asking him at certain moments and picking those moments to utilize what he is and to lean into what Texas Tech obviously means to him?
Yeah, he's pretty incredible. I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll tell you how I use him. So I played in this foundation tournament in Vegas. That was not a hard sell to go out to Vegas and play golf. But he had, we took some Red Raiders out there and he had a meet and greet before the dinner. And it was the day that the NFL schedule was released. And so I was looking when his bye week was and what it matched up with. And so I got it. As soon as he walks into the building, makes a beeline to me and says, I'll be at the BYU game, man. I'm going to be there. I've already been talking so much trash to Coach Reed. In fact, I'm going to make him come with me. So you better win that game. So
that's great.
Dude, think about that. He's thought about it and already knows before I do. And so that's who he is, man. That guy, I mean, he was at the softball game 2 and game 3.
Yeah,
he gave all that gear to our softball team. I will text him and say, hey, man, I'm going to have so-and-so on campus. Let's say he's a quarterback 2026. Tell me a time that I can get on the phone with you and you can just say hello. He was on our sideline during his bye week we played at Kansas and he was on our sideline. Like, I think he probably sleeps in a double T every night. Like, he is just all freaking in.
Love it.
On Texas Tech. And he'll tell you, man, he literally says, I am who I am because I came to Lubbock and I'm a Red Raider.
That's great.
And man, it's great to have him. Our walkthrough room is the Patrick Mahomes walkthrough room. Our quarterback's meeting room is the Patrick Mahomes, quarterback's meeting room. Our offensive coordinator has Patrick Mahomes' name on it, in his office. The dude's real. I'm wearing Mahomes shoes, or maybe I did this morning for football school. He's real. And what's cool, he's one of the greatest, just humble dudes. Like, he's just a real guy.
Yeah. We've been prepping you with questions. What we do on the show is, after we just bombard you with questions for 20 minutes, we let you go ahead and ask us some questions, man. So
I love it.
Go ahead and let it rip.
I've got, I was thinking of this whenever they said, come on, and I'm asking both of you guys this, and y'all can answer. I mean, you've played on incredible teams. Coach, you've coached incredible teams. When you're going into the year and like, man, we're about to be really good. Like, we're about to be able to step on the field. We're as good as anybody in the country and we can win this thing. Like, first, Mark, what was the mentality of that locker room? Like, what were your guys as a leader of that team and leader of that locker room? Like, how did y'all talk to each other?
For one, we policed each other and held each other accountable. I think that was the main thing with great teams that I was on. We didn't need the coach to tell us we need to step it up or we need to have a great practice. Like, no, we held each other to a certain standard. We held each other accountable. If you weren't up to your standard, like, we challenged you on it. And it wasn't no bad feelings or personal feelings about it. It was all because we wanted to be the best we could be. We wanted to go accomplish something special, and that was winning a championship. So when you have that type of policing going on within your locker room, and it's through your leaders, it's through your players, I think that's when you know that you have something special. Obviously, the coaches, they know the temperament. They can gauge, like, when they need to be pushed or, tapered back. But when you have your players policing each other, holding each other to a standard, holding each other accountable, spending time with each other outside of the facility, going to dinners, just genuinely loving each other and caring about each other, I think that's when you know that you have a special team, is the chemistry in the locker room between the players.
I love it. Coach, man,
Yeah,
you've
Mark,
won
that
it,
was
man.
good, dude.
Yes.
It was. It was. You won it all, man.
Yes, sir.
I just think
appreciate
that's
it.
so rare to have that kind of, and I had a couple of them where they're that mature of a team. And you've seen that with the Wolverines and the Buckeyes the last 2 years. They're grown-ass men in the locker room. I didn't have that luxury. Our guys left after 3 years. So I would always try to – well, when I had a team like that, it was very unique. And we had a couple where you just – it was a player-led. But I would – just like our early conversation, there's nothing like coaching a pissed-off team. There's nothing like it. Anger is one of the greatest motivations, to have a team that plays the game pissed off with something to prove. And I think Texas Tech, with you leading them and just your conversation, I would have stuff all over that locker room and every meeting starting about where, the Big Ten, SEC, and I just keep throwing stuff at those players and saying, maybe you don't belong, maybe, which, if you got a real group of alphas, they're gonna try to not play that team. They're gonna try to hurt that team, and that's when you get a good team. And that's our best teams are angry. That 014 or a couple of national championships we had, and the undefeated Utah team. They played every game like they wanted to hurt you because they wanted to prove to the country that they belonged. And I think Texas. I'm excited to watch you, Coach.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Hope we're there, man.
Me too. We had a great time.
Man.
We had a great time. It was turned up in Lubbock, man.
We might need dinner help. We might need dinner help next time, though, Coach. It was a bit of a struggle. It was short notice. Notice.
Hey, where'd y'all end up eating?
The hotel.
Okay, hey, don't worry about anything.
You got
Coach got our back. This is great. Hey,
I've already got a spot. I'll have it set for you.
Is it your backyard?
Well, you can come to my backyard too.
Let's go.
Sit on the patio and we can smoke a cigar and
you got a job to do, Rob. Rob, don't say he's got a job to do.
I'm
get there early.
I'll be at the team hotel, but I got a spot for you, man. It'd be one of the best steaks, if not the best steaks you've ever had in your life.
Okay.
Done and done.
Done. Take you up on that offer, Coach.
Yeah, fired up to get back. Coach, give us guns up, Coach. Guns up, man.
Baby. Guns up forever, baby.
Coach McGuire, thanks so much for joining us on the Triple Option. Have a great summer, man. Can't wait to see you next season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Coach.